welcome to Fairy Fountain's channel. So today we're going to be looking at resizing and cutting up of a model. We cut up our models, 1 to fit our printers and 2 to help with the printing so that we're not printing as much supports. The model that we're going to be resizing and cutting up today is Rey's Star from Star Wars Episode 7. This model was created by Fabian Els. We'll put some of his contact details down below in the description so that you can go and contact him if you need any modeling done. He's really a fantastic modeler. The video footage that we're using here is something that we filmed 2 years ago when we were still mostly using our Wanhao Duplicator D4. It is a very small build plate, so we had to cut our stuff up quite smaller than what we do now. But it'll give you a good indication of how we actually resize and cut up the model. Something else, we've also learned a few tricks since then, so there's a few things that may have changed. Our software definitely has changed and upgraded since then, so while we still use Netfabb, Netfabb has definitely improved since then, but the basics are still there. On top of that, the software that we use for printing is no longer Makerbot. We use Cura for everything and Simplify 3D. So that's also slightly different, but again, as I say, the basics of it is still there. Let's jump right into it. So step 1 is going to be research. You need to see how large you need the item. Once you've got that, we're going to go open up your item. You're going to go resize it. So for me, I'm resizing it on my x-axis because that's the length that I need to resize it at. So there you can see resized quite large. This is not going to fit on the build plate. This means that we're going to have to save it like this. What we do now is we save it as an STL instead of a thing file because STL works with everything. Okay, then we're going to open up Netfabb. Bring your product into Netfabb, your model. I have got a lot of files and my client is currently under no name for now. So there we go, we've got the full model. Have a look over here. Then you need to find on which axis you're going to be cutting it. So for this one, you can see it's the x-axis. You can see that tiny little dot there where it goes. We're going to be cutting it in half because this is just, it makes more sense. Cut it in half, cut it in half again. You see where that little square is? That little square indicates the halfway mark on your model. So again, you're going to go cut it halfway, and you can have a look there. We're going closer into it a little bit. See, something you need to remember when cutting a model, now this is not something that I took into account when I was originally cutting this model, you're going to need to sand and smooth things out wherever you put the joint. So make sure wherever you're cutting it, you're going to be able to get into all those little grooves and things to be able to sand it and smooth it out properly. Otherwise, you're just going to have to live with a line that's going to be there. Okay, so now one of the things that we can do in Netfabb is move the things around, make life easier. So instead of cutting each individual one again in half, we're just going to line them all up next to each other and we're going to cut them all once again so that we've got each of them again in another half. And we're taking this one down. There we go. And again, using the x-axis, we go in half. And, you know, make sure, as I said, your positioning and that is in a position where you can actually sand it. With Rey's staff, I did actually battle with the one joint to sand it because it was there. You can see that top one as we're zooming in. You can see that top one there. So it's got little like wings. Because I went and cut it there, it made life a little bit more difficult for me. I was still able to get it reasonably smooth though. So then you're going to take it and you're going to export and save each individual file. Make sure that you're naming it and saving it in a place where you know you'll be able to get it. Do not be like a certain somebody that I know that goes and downloads all of their models into one file and then she can't find where any of her stuff is. I won't be mentioning names. She knows who she is. So make sure that your files are organized. I've got subcategories of subcategories of subcategories where I save the things, but I can find my stuff within a matter of seconds. And you can see here I'm just naming it because it's already in array file. I'm just naming it 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Going on by numbers, you can name it whatever makes sense to you, however you're going to be able to find it. Okay, so 3 more pieces that needs to be saved. As I say, make sure that you've got absolutely everything saved. We are going to double check everything afterwards and make sure that it fits on your build plate. As I said before in the intro, that our build plate is a lot bigger than what it was then. We also wouldn't be printing it flat anymore. We would be rotate it so that it's printing vertically, which would make a lot more sense. We've learned a few tricks since doing this video, as I said, and since me actually doing raised staff. So we're going to check and see. You can see there this one fits quite nicely onto the build plate. Again, as I say, if we were doing it now, I'd be printing it vertically, not lying it on its side. And now we're just going to check our last model, make sure that it fits perfectly on the build plate. Everything fits. We know we've got all the models. We're happy. Now on to the next step. So now once we're done with the resizing, the cutting, and double checking your model, it's now on to the next step, which would be the printing. After the printing, you go through to your cleaning, your assembly, your cleaning again, your painting, adding any accessories. Like with raised staff, we add the bandages. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon.